Hi, welcome back to Waxing On. It's Monday, and today we're looking at a unique album uh, just because of where it was released. And it's English-born singer-songwriter Joan Armatrading. Now, Joan Armatrading's been, I guess, performing for a number of years. She's been around for quite a while. This album's quite an older one I have. I'm just going to see here 1972 till present. I know she was still putting out her last album was 2021, so she's been around quite a few years, and this album came out maybe about a third or fourth album, one of her tours in the USA. Now, it's a unique album, and it's called Steppin' Out. I had a hard time finding this one on the streaming networks. Luckily, I got a hard copy, which was great, but the album, 1979, was when she was on tour in the US. They recorded a live album. Now, they released it in the UK and Europe and in Canada, but for some reason the administrators didn't feel she really sold enough albums to warrant a live album, and it was never released in the US. Now, later on, I think it was in the 2000s, they did release a DVD of the concert, but this album, which may explain why I had such a hard time finding it, never got US release. So it's called Steppin' Out, and see what we've got for the inside. I guess a little more of a gatefold here. Single album, but they started doing this for a while. A lot of times they had double albums, and hence the double jacket. But they got to a stage they were doing this, and there'd be some neat stuff inside. Sometimes it's a photo like this. Other times it might have been lyrics, something else in there. But again, we're sparing no expense on packaging to give you a double album with only one disc in this case. Now, it was called from the first few albums. It says recorded live in North America. There's no other details on where it was recorded. The band at this time, I'll just give you an idea who we've got on here. Red Young on keyboards. We got Ricky Hirsch on lead guitar. Richie Hayward on drums. Bill Bodine on bass, and Lon Price on saxophones and flute. Now, key here, produced and engineered by Glenn Johns. Now, you'll recognize Glenn Johns' name before, and it's come up on a lot of things we've talked about on this show, and a lot of albums you're going to recognize. I didn't go through his whole list of who he had produced or what he had done, or how many songs he produced, but here's just an idea of the kind of people he's associated with. Rolling Stones, the Beatles, the Who, Led Zeppelin, the Kinks, the Eagles, Bob Dylan, the Band, Clapton, Clash, Steve Miller Band. I mean, the list goes on and on. This guy has really got it clicking with his work, and loans it to Joan Armatrading on here. Okay, tunes we're looking at. Mama Mercy, one of her big hits. And again, a little different version than the album one if you're familiar with it. Cool Blue Stole My Heart, Howl Cruel, Love Song, and Love and Affection. Side 2 is Steppin' Out, You Rope Tie Me, Kissin' and Huggin', and Tall in the Saddle. Now, Joan Armatrading's got a unique kind of voice. It did remind me a little bit of what we talked about last week with Macy Gray. When you hear it, she's got a style of delivery, but the songs change a lot. I mean, it's not just in one style. She's classified as folk, rock, pop, blues. You never know what you're going to get one song to the next, but I'll tell you, it was very interesting. I hadn't pulled this one album out in a long time. I'd actually forgotten about it because I haven't listened to it. I had one of her albums on 8-track when I used to travel in the car with it, if you can imagine. And this one, but it was just back in the back. I happened on it last week there, and I thought, well, there's one that I haven't heard in a while. Put it back on, and I'll tell you, it's still just as great as ever. You may have a hard time finding this one. I don't know if it's been released out under another title. There are a couple of live albums on there, but I mean, when you go on the streaming networks, we certainly got greatest hits packages. We've got some of the early albums. A chance to discover somebody that maybe you're not familiar with. I know when this came out in the late 70s, she was getting airplay on our local radio, but it wasn't something that followed through. I never really heard much of her after that. And I mean, she's still going, 2021, still putting albums out, just not getting airplay. So there may be a lot of people that just really aren't familiar with what she has to offer. So that's a little treat for Monday morning. Kind of a lost album, one that didn't get a lot of wide release, but certainly an excellent album, excellent performer, great singer-songwriter, well worth checking out. Check out the catalog. Maybe not stepping out, but what else she has? Greatest hits, a number of albums. Joan Armatrading, you're not going to go wrong. Okay, that's it for Monday. See you on Wednesday when I have another really rare and special album for you. So join us then. Till then, everybody take care. Stay safe. Thanks for stopping by.